All right, let's start this off. Hello everybody, my name is Charlie Hawkins. This is Jesse Gelbaum. We're part of a group called Ultra Confusion. We are an independent news and review website for video games based out of Atlanta, Georgia. We've been doing this since 2007. We've been doing the panel circuit off and on for the past 2 years. And this seems to be the most popular topic, the destruction of the game industry as we know it. So, first off, the title of of this panel is the destruction of the game industry. The game industry is not going to go anywhere, but what we're here to tell you is that the innovation and creativity of the game industry is dying at a very rapid pace. That's because no company out there wants to take that leap of faith anymore. Unless you've got a huge laundry list of games that have been amazingly popular, all the publishers want from you is repeats. They want the next Halo, they want the next Call of Duty, they want the next Assassin's Creed. Mass Effect, I'm sure there's going to be a new Mass Effect, even though they're going to have to change the storyline. Well, this is going to be interesting. Okay, Justin, go for it.
Really what's going on is that there's a change in the industry with this creativity towards putting out these products every year. And with the new systems coming about, there's even a push away from being a single player with a story to a more multiplayer push, where they're having, well, for Xbox for a while said you have to be connected to the internet at all times, and then they backtracked on that when people were like, that's not a good idea. But there's this push away from being a single player idea to being a more multiplayer idea. And one of the problems that really arises with that is you lose some of the story aspects.
Not some of it, you lose all of it.
You lose all of it when that happens. You get more of this, we're going to put out 4 or 5 different boards and then you're going to interact with these people on the boards instead of having a story that's slowly going to progress. And that's really becoming much more rare. Of course, when a game company does that, then all of a sudden it becomes the most amazing game ever because it's got a story instead of just you play for a while against some other people online. Yeah.
One of the best examples for this year is Last of Us on the PlayStation 3. A phenomenal game, single player, very story driven, and now it's already calling it the game of the year. When Heavy Rain came out, easily the game of the year. What was it? Single player game. The thing is, single player games are now becoming a very interesting, unique niche market. It's a lot easier for game companies to come out and make a multiplayer game and then sell it to people, because yes, a lot of people want to interact with their friends, but there are some out there who are sick and tired of being called unique terminology while playing a first-person shooter, and so you no longer want to go online. So basically, a lot harder with the PA. Okay, so right now, because of the fact that no one wants to take risks on the big name companies, there is a huge chance for independent developers to come out firing, be able to throw out their amazing games to the public and kind of take away some of that attention from the publishers. Now, of course, that is not 100% possible, simply because
I'm going to ask them if they can stop
All right, he's got a very short temper, folks, so I apologize. So, yes, sir.
Well, not a question. Like, The Last of Us also has multiplayer. From what I heard and experienced myself, it's really good.
Right, but the main focus of that game, right, is the story.
Really
but you look at the majority of the games now, the story is used as a tutorial to get you into the real game.
We're going to let the judges deliberate here, and it's kind of close, so we may have to have a round 2. I'm not sure if anybody signed up for that, but we'll do it anyway.
Please, no. Yeah. They had to beg people to do this, and now, whatever. Okay, so anyways, right now is a phenomenal time to be an independent developer. There's so many different platforms out there. It's no longer just 2 consoles or 3 consoles. You've got the iOS device, you've got Android devices, you've got an Android console, which we have over at our table right over there, called an Ouya. But here's the downside. The publishers who basically control the game industry, they want to play safe, so you're not going to see anything new. But the publishers also have very, very deep pockets. So marketing is always going to be in the favor of the publisher. So you could have the best, phenomenal game in the world. You can have the next Angry Birds, the next Zynga game, a Zynga company, but you've got like a 1 in 10,000 chance of being recognized. So things need to change. And I think with the help of this audience and word of mouth, a stronger word of mouth than what's going on right now, we can help change it so that the creativity doesn't die, that we don't end up with just multiplayer games. Because another reason for the name of this panel is, if you look at it, consoles, there's no real console left except if you want to count the Wii U. Yes, I know, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and then the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, they're considered consoles, but not really. They're media-centric devices, where if you were to, when I log into Xbox and I look at my friends list, 19 out of 20 people are watching Hulu or Netflix. They're no longer playing the games. Why? Because it's just an easier device to stream your stuff on. So you're going to see that integration. Hell, the Xbox One, that integration is basically going to be complete. You're going to be able to put your cable box or satellite box through your Xbox One and control your TV through there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and really, to be honest, that's a really cool feature. Like, people were really upset with the way the Xbox looked, or the Xbox One looked, because it was just a black square.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's just black. It's not cool. It's not innovative. It looks like every other piece of high-end, equipment that you would put by your TV.
And they wanted that so that way it blends in. But the reason gamers are upset about that is because they want their system to stand out. So when somebody walks into their house, people say, oh, you play that? You play this? It doesn't stand out anymore, but Xbox doesn't want it to stand out.
Well, Microsoft doesn't want it to stand out because Microsoft is trying to sell as many as possible. And to sell as many as possible, they're trying to hone in on the market who don't play games. They just want a device that allows you to watch your Netflix and your Hulu and ESPN. They just signed an exclusive contract with NFL. They want the people who aren't gamers. That's where the focus is. So you have all these platforms, all these potential promising games that are just being thrown away. The Ouya we've got there, phenomenal console. The box is literally like this big, and it's not only the gaming device, but it's also a dev kit. You literally can plug it in your computer, start pushing your program over there, and you can play it, and then you can sell it in the marketplace. Of course, Microsoft has basically said you can do that with the Xbox One as well, but if you want to release games, you've got to put a license on it. So we're talking about innovation and maybe the destruction of it, and of course, until very recently, Microsoft had said you have to have a publisher in order to publish any kind of game on our system. And a lot of people are like, that's crap. We're not doing that. So they jumped ship, and of course Xbox backed off of it. In my opinion, it's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because a lot of cool games are probably going to go to the Xbox. It's a bad thing because now you're going to have the same issue with the iOS device, the Android marketplace, and a lot of different gaming places, because you're going to see all of those people who are trying to make a quick buck. They're going to bury your quality game in about 35 different games of crap that someone is going to accidentally buy because it's one word or one letter different. It's instead of Angry Birds, it's like Angrier Pigeons. And that's the reality of it. People see a market and they want to exploit it so they can make money fast. And unfortunately, that then degrades the quality of the market. A lot of people don't really like going through the Android Play marketplace because it's a wasteland of just crap applications on top of each other. And then the iOS, it's unless yes sir. You would think. But the thing is, with these individuals who have these crap games, they have a team of people who are just signing in from different IPs and then putting the highest ranking, which then cancels out your rating system. Because the people who are actually playing the quality games who actually find it are less number than... Right. Right. Can be exploited. Right. Yeah.
I don't think you're ever going to come up with a rating system that can't be exploited. I think everybody's going to find a way because they're going to play around with it until they find that loophole. And one of the things a publisher does is it smallens that loophole. It's tougher to find one when you actually have to have somebody who can put out your game. When we were doing this talk last week, one of the things that people end up talking about is that what publishers do is they'll eventually take your game and they'll turn it into something that may not resemble what you want. And so that's one of the problems with publishers is that publishers don't care about your game. They care about the money they make off your game. Publishers do all this legwork to find out what people want, whether it's color, whether it's what characters look like, theme, and they'll try to integrate that into your game. So they'll find a game that they think is decently good and then take that with their money and make it a better game.
I'm going to give you a completely bogus example, but unfortunately it's probably happened somewhere in the game industry. Let's say that you're an independent developer. You present a zombie game, a zombie first-person shooter game to a big-name publisher. They say that's fantastic. If we can make a couple of small changes, then we're in business. You're like, all right, fine. Sign on the dotted line. Okay, well, instead of zombies, we want clowns. And by clowns, we mean clownfish. Instead of a shotgun, we really want a fishing rod. And by fishing rod, we want it to be near water. And so really what we want is a fishing game. I mean, literally, that, I know that's like a little bit of exaggeration, but it could happen. The benefit of being independent is that you can actually make the game you love, the game you're passionate about. But the flip side of it is no one may know about that game. Whereas when you have the publisher's backing, the publisher goes, even if it's a piece of crap, we're going to be able to sell it because we're going to make it look pretty and people are going to be dumb enough to buy it. And I apologize for anybody out there who buys Madden every single year, but it's the same game. Here's my quick analogy about EA in general. When they do sequels, they have a huge corkboard that goes across the back end of their office. And there's little pieces of paper with enhancement notes on there. They have two darts. They have the enhancement dart and the broken dart. And they throw the enhancement dart and go, let's just say, man, aha, the passing mechanics are going to be enhanced this time. Broken dart. The rushing mechanism is going to be broken. Well, guess next year you'll have to buy the new game, so rushing works. That's really what it is. And then also EA's a dirty bunch of scoundrels because they turn off their servers after 2 years.
Really?
Yep. So if you're playing, let's see here, Madden,
2011, 2012 now. This should be 2014.
Right. So 2012, they're shutting down the servers because they want you to buy the new game. EA loves money; they love it. But the benefit of having a publisher for the Xbox system would have been that that an independent developer, a third-party developer, giving their game to a publisher. The publisher is not willing to risk their name to put any game out there. So it would have been crowd control. You would have seen less crap. But at the same time, the publisher's probably going to take a sweet little chunk of the money. Because
And really,
that's what
the gaming industry is moving away from the developers and away from the players, and it's moving much more power towards the publishers and the console providers, really, because they can dictate what we all play, and that's a big problem when we start losing our control over it. And one of the big things that you're going to start seeing with the next gen consoles is that you can't lend your games out to people. When you buy the games, you're buying the licensing fees, but you're not buying the game.
Well, okay, so real quick, yes and no on that point. As some of you may have heard, Microsoft had basically said that you can't. There was like some weird deal where your game is in the cloud, and if you signed on under your name underneath a different person's Xbox, you could play for 24 hours without an internet connection. If at the beginning of that 24 hours you had an internet connection to verify. If your friend played that game, they would have an hour without internet connection before it shuts you off. And but they changed that. They have Microsoft and Sony have both said, yeah, used games are fine. What the small print that most people don't recognize or have a chance to hear is that the console manufacturers are not going to dictate if you can play used games on your console or not. It's the publishers. And I'm telling you right now, EA is not going to allow you to play a used game. They're going to nail you with that online pass, but it's probably going to get worse. You're probably going to have to play your. The rumor is, at least for the PlayStation, a lot of what could happen with publishers is that if you have a used game, or let's say I borrow a game from Jesse, I put it in my console, it will automatically go into demo mode until I'm willing to pay $25 or something like that. Whatever fee they set, that's what it's going to cost. So now we are almost completely in the digital age, which of course would nullify used games anyways, because you no longer have the discs, which brings up a different interesting situation. But
What about like pay to win gaming on that Android stuff where you can pay?
Yeah, microtransactions. Yeah, that's going to grow, like big time. That's probably going to be the solution for when everything goes digital. They will say, oh, you know, if you want a little extra boost or some special currency, you know, pay us $3 and we'll give you 250 rubies to use in this special store that you can't use otherwise. I mean, that's what the majority of MMOs are doing, with the exception of World of Warcraft and EVE Online, and there's another one. Well, whatever, subscription-based MMOs, they're a quickly dying breed. Everything has to go free to play because no one wants to pay a monthly subscription on a game they don't know if it's going to be around or not. So they go to free to play, and then they sucker you in with good stuff, and then they say, well, if a little bit extra money, you can get even better stuff, and then that happens. I mean, you look at Neverwinter Online, Firefall, Dungeons & Dragons Online. Actually, Dungeons & Dragons Online and Lord of the Rings Online, as soon as they went to free to play and then had microtransactions, they made more money than all the subscriptions combined. Right. 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 And I mean, that's what it's going to. Like it or leave it. I mean, there's a lot of people who. It depends on the game. There are games out there where you pay to win, and that pisses a lot of people off. There's also games that find that unique balance, and if you can get that balance, it's actually a lot harder than it looks. But if you can get that balance, man, that game takes off like nobody's business.
One of the topics it's relatively new with the small transaction market is whether you actually own these things still. You might buy it, you might put your money into it, but let's say the game folds in 2 years or 3 years. Do you get your money back for all that money you invested into it? Because it's not your idea to stop playing the game, it's somebody else's because they shut it down. That's still legally kind of a black hole because no one knows. And it's all new because that's the way the game industry is going. And I think once a lot of these games start folding and people start suing, it's going to get resolved in the courts about, is it worth putting your money into these microtransactions if you're not going to own them, or if you are going to own them? People are talking about if it's gambling or not, because you could play the game and you might beat the game, but you could do it better, you could do it more powerful, and you could be a better player if you put more money into it. Is it gambling? And so there's all these things that come up with these microtransaction free-to-play games about how does it work, how does it affect the gamer, how is it playing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're unfortunately, I think the company's going to win because they're going to put it under payment of services. So.
We like this topic because it's a black hole, because now we can go into past microtransactions, the loss of the story. What else can we talk about?
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
Let's talk Kickstarter.
The new way of developing games, because now people are raising money off of Kickstarter because you have
people are getting money on promises and dreams at Kickstarter. Kickstarter
fairy tales and rainbows
is a phenomenal service, but I think that it is probably the worst thing for the digital game industry known to man. And I say that because, not because I don't think that games that are produced in a Kickstarter fashion, which is crowdfunding for you guys who don't know, not that it's a bad idea, but the problem is if you shoot way over the goal that you set, you are dead. And if you don't make your goal, you're dead. So a perfect example is a game called Double Fine Adventures, which is now called Broken Age. They set their price tag at $400,000. They made that instantly. They ended up with $3.3 million. Now the way the Kickstarter works is once you hit your goal, then you give these stretch goal initiatives to keep the money coming in. Well, that $400,000, they made sure that that was the exact amount they needed. But once they surpassed that by big numbers, they started throwing features and new characters and lands and different modes in there because they're like, well, this would be a cool idea, let's do this. And this is a cool idea, let's do that. And then it ends up, they no longer have that financial plan. That game was supposed to come out this year. The alpha will come out 2014. They are out of money. They have completely used up all $3.3 million already. Yeah, they did that in June. They finally ran out of the money in June. Because they have no publisher, they have no extra source of income, so they're literally eating themselves alive to try to make this game. And now they're starting this nasty, here's a new trend for independent developers. If you're doing it on the PC, you got a big enough name. You work a deal out with Steam or Valve, and you say, I'm gonna put the alpha build out there. People can buy it for the full price, and you can have early access to the game, and then they get a shit ton of money back and roll in there to allow them to try to keep up. I believe Broken Age, for the people who actually kickstarted, they should have the full game in April of 2014. For people who did not kickstart it, I believe it's July 2014. That's if they don't run out of money again. And oh, by the way, they've also kickstarted another project in the meantime. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. It's because of the name. It's because Tim Schafer's still there, and Tim Schafer still holds weight. They may not pay, as much as Double Fine wants, but they might be willing to meet them halfway or a quarter of a way. Any kind of money flow would have helped them, Right. Absolutely.
Or the publisher would push it out already. The
Yeah, that's
publisher
true.
would have just said, "You're done. Make your final fixes on it, and we're pushing the game."
No, absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I used Kickstarter like 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I paid $5 for a game on my iPhone.
Mhm.
I still have it back. It was
Did
like,
you do I Love Robots Live Ice Cream?
No, it was called Wolfman and Crowboy.
Okay.
And it looked cool. They got, I think it was like 13 updates, and it's been about like a year and a half that they haven't updated.
Yep. Yep.
I just waited.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with a digital product,
It's not real.
It sucks. 'Cause I wonder
It's
if
not a
Yeah.
real product. It's code. It's fake. I mean, it's just there. If I put money into a hard product, most of that product's already done when they show it to me.
because in order to get your money in Kickstarter, they've got to show you
Yeah.
close to a finished product. With a book, you've got
Chapters done.
You got chapters done. With a where the
With
heck is
a
it?
board game, you get the board game. With
Yeah, they've got
a
a
video
prototype.
game, they
They
give
have
you.
a wallet concept. They show you the wallet concept.
With a video game, they give you an idea and some of like screenshots of things they've already done,
Well, it's mostly video.
but it's mostly video. It's
Yeah.
not real. There's nothing hard for people to see. Something that's physically done and made. And so once they have the chance to expand, they can just keep going and going and going, and they can give people more screenshots. But once again, it's not a hard physical thing. It's something that's not real until they make it real for you to play.
Well, another thing is that with video games, it's very, very easy to fall into the technology black hole, where once you get to your game's almost complete, oh, there's a new graphics engine that would make our game that much better. Let's see if we can throw that in there. Oh, we got to scrap like a third of the game. That's okay. That needed to be thrown away anyways. We'll make it better. And they just keep doing that. That's what happened to Duke Nukem Forever. Duke Nukem Forever, I think, yeah, okay. You know, Gearbox took the hit for putting out that piece of crap.
The game industry is changing in multiple ways, and it's being pulled in lots of different directions. And it's our job as fans and our job as gamers, and some of us are developers, producers, writers, artists, whatever we are, to let the industry know that we are not happy with some of these changes. And that's what happened with Microsoft. Microsoft found out that people weren't pleased that they wanted a 24-hour connection, and within what? Not even 22 weeks?
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks it was scrapped. Microsoft said people don't want it. And so they went in a direction the way that people want. So we have to raise our voices, and part of the way we raise our voices is we make better indie games. We expand what people want to play and what people want.
Well, I think what needs to be done is that I think more people need to be open to the idea that games that don't have EA or Activision or Blizzard or BioWare or something just slapped right on the cover could be on par with those games. If you give some of the games that come from a no-name place a chance, there's a good chance that you found a game that you're just going to be so in love with that you got to tell everybody. And that's hopefully what happens. Us as a company, Alter Confusion, we have been reviewing games since 2007. We were mainly focusing on AAA titles, but I'm going to tell you this right now. That was the stupidest idea I've ever had in my life. Because there are 30,000 other websites out there who are reviewing the same game, and we definitely do not have anywhere near the star power of some of those websites to try to pull that off. So we put our heads together and we decided there's a lot of indie developers in Georgia. There's a lot of indie developers everywhere. So I know that they are dying for some ink, somebody to write about their game, someone to review it that's not a family member. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, family lies. Oh God, do they lie. If you never show your parents, never show your friends, whatever, your game, show complete strangers. They will tell you the truth. Once that game is pushed out and hopefully starts making money, then you can show your friends and family. Because otherwise, because
That's once again why people have publishers. It's that third
Marketing.
point of view. It's the marketing. Instead of your mom saying, "That was great, honey. That was the best thing ever," it's someone saying, "Hey, we got to fix this color. We got to fix that color. This part's really glitchy here. Zombies are cool, but vampires are in now." You know, that's where things come. So as much as Charlie likes publishers, I dislike publishers. It's needed. But we are here because we feel that this is a voice that needs to be given to these small companies who may not necessarily be able to afford a publisher. Publishers
or a marketing
or a
department.
marketing department. We do it for them.
Yep.
So we like to come around to these things to find out what gamers want, what gamers are, what they have. That's why we honestly like questions, because questions raise more topics. It gets to know what you guys all need. We've honestly run through our spiel because we like questions. What kind of things do you want?
Right,
Yes,
I
sir.
got something. I've heard, image boards, forums, that especially with the talk with the Xbox One in particular, that people are very dissatisfied. Even though Xbox One went back, that Microsoft changed it, people are still dissatisfied with the two new consoles. And there's a lot of talk, a big pushback to PC gaming. Y'all actually see that going mainstream, or is
Well,
that just going to be people
see-
on the internet?
Well, no. To be completely honest with you, I think that there is going to be a push towards PC gaming because gamers have this thought that they have more control over what they can play on the PC games. PC has gone completely digital. I mean, it's almost 100% digital, which means that once you buy the game, you can't sell it, you can't give it to someone, it is yours. And now the consoles are trying to do that, and everyone's like, whoa, no, you can't do that. You can't take away my freedom of sharing games and use games. But so yes, I think that because of some of the weird rules that they're doing about sharing games and stuff, I think that a lot of people want a simpler system. So they're going to go back to Steam, and if you're an EA fan, Origin, or whatever.
Consoles are really heading to where PCs have been for
They are PCs.
ever. They're trying to be more PC-like.
You gotta
The only
install your
difference
games.
is you can't
yeah, I know.
manipulate the
Install games.
console. You can manipulate a computer. You can do whatever you want with it.
Cause see, I've been a long time PC gamer. I mean, I've always had an Xbox and whatever,
Yeah.
but I've always had a good PC. And you guys are talking about EA having activation codes. I've had activation codes since Command and Conquer Red Alert. I mean, we're talking
Right.
old.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is nothing new. So, I mean, but I am upset about it on the Xbox or whatever, and I don't know why. Because, like I said, I've
Because
had
you
it
didn't
with
have to do it in the
PC
You don't
past.
have to do it
I'm like,
before. The thing is, as much as we've always kind of admired the PC thing for letting us do it, these are things we've always just accepted because it's a small market. There's not that many people to complain. The market for consoles is so large that when they start doing things that people aren't used to because they're not all PC gamers, people are like, whoa, what's this activation code I need all of a sudden? When PC gamers are like, yeah, what's the big deal? I've been doing it forever.
Yes, sir.
I read online that basically when Microsoft backed
Back
down
off,
or whatever,
yep.
that it's basically like the Xbox One is basically buying like an upgraded 360. It's like the Microsoft PS3. That's what they compared it to. That's pretty funny. I don't know.
I would say every new system is an upgrade from the old system, but graphics-wise, they've fairly peaked. They're not these huge jumps that we used to see.
Yeah.
In graphics-wise, anyway,
Processor power.
it's really processing power, how fast you get through everything. But the new jump is not. They're not all consoles. It's all the other things it can do for you. I mean, my Xbox. What, you've been able to order a Pizza Hut pizza now for a year?
Well, that's
I mean, I
like-
don't know. Yeah, you can. They have a
like
Pizza
lazy
Hut app. You can
badass.
order it while you play.
That's not cool at all.
But see, that's the thing, is that's what they think people want, is it not just to be your gaming system, but that way you can order your pizza while you play. I don't anybody know who orders Pizza Hut pizza. Maybe it's just an Atlanta thing from where we eat Papa John's more, but
Papa John's in my house.
Yes, sir.
I'm letting him answer all the programming.
No. I don't see it going over to console. PC and handhelds, yeah, but not console. Questions?
I mean, to me, the handheld whole thing is dead anyway. I mean, it's done for.
Yeah.
With the exception of Nintendo, you know why?
Nintendo, yeah.
Pokemon. That's literally it. If you took away Pokemon, the DS would be dead tomorrow. Right.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, like, the handheld systems are all going towards the cell phone. I mean, the handheld market is dead, and it's the cell phone. And but the thing is, even with these games, I don't think they're going to be as like powerful as we would want them to be, or as fun. They want things you can do in the bathroom. Those 5-minute games. They're toilet games. That's a good way to put it. I mean, I love Angry Birds for being a toilet game. I'll be honest. And you do.
It's the only time you play it.
It's something to do.
Exactly. Questions? Sir.
I got another one. Going back to what you guys had a publisher. You know, you liked the publisher because it was keeping some of the crap out, but you didn't like it. I wasn't old enough exactly to know this very well, but one of the biggest crashes of video games was the whole Atari thing, and it was because there was just the same thing I was talking about. It was like the original Google or Play Market, whatever. It was just slogs of crap. And so when Nintendo came out with the NES, or at least when they did in the US, when you wanted to make a game for the Nintendo, you had to get that little Nintendo seal of approval.
Yep.
Well, is there any way maybe gaming can switch towards that? So you can have the indie developer make their game their way, but they just have to submit it for some sort of approval. Not necessarily, hey, we want you to change this, but hey, your game sucks. It either is actually some sort of developmental actual game, or hey, you're clearly just trying to rip these guys off. You're gonna have to do better than that. Creative decision.
Right. Apple has been trying to do that, to try to cut down on all the copycats. Microsoft, ironically, is going in the opposite direction. They're cutting down the amount of time it takes for a game submission to it actually being on the Xbox. It was, I think, 30 days, and now they're cutting it down to 14. So that means that they really can't look at your stuff because they've probably got 50 or hundreds of submissions a day. So you're not going to get all that love and attention. So you're going to see a lot of crap.
Well, see, that's what they need to go back to.
Right.
Is
But the other thing is, a lot of publishers wouldn't stand for, because if you're going to put a seal of approval on one thing, you got to put it on everything. And publishers have been so free of that seal of approval, which basically I think by the Nintendo 64 was just Nintendo's like, here you go.
Yeah.
But see, that was a good way to,
Right. It was a phenomenal
without
way.
the publishers, they were still able to say, hey, this is crap, or hey, this is actual a contribution to our system.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you don't have that kind of crowd control, and I don't think that you can take it back.
And with the new inflow of games, to get that better seal of approval, they'd have to hire more people, and that cuts into how much money they make. And that's the last thing any company wants to do, is to cut down on their own money. I mean, I bet you the CEOs of these companies don't know how to play video games to save their life. They just want the money to roll in their pocket. So they can care less the product we actually get.
We just want to remind you, we are giving away, obviously, the creepiest thing at MonsterCon, the vibrating head. The raffle ends at 2:30 tomorrow, so get your tickets now. Tickets are $5 for one, $10 for three. Thank you, sir.
I mean, I know they had to move the venue last minute, but there are things they got to work on. That happens to be one of them. At least got them to be quiet for a while.
So, one of the big reasons why I'm all in favor of independent developers is because developers really need to see the money. The way it is now, if you were to make a game and put it at GameStop, let's see here. You got a publisher, hopefully, because if you don't, you're going to swallow a lot of costs. So let's say that you're a small company. It's got EA as your publisher. EA push your box game in GameStop. Every single piece of that shelf is real estate that has to be rented. So EA is going to pay GameStop, I don't know, 3 spots for that store, and then 3 spots for all the GameStop stores. That's a shit ton of money right there. Then, when the game sells, GameStop pockets 20% of it, 80% goes to the publisher. Of that 80%, depending on your contract, the contract between EA and the developer, it's either going to be 80% of that 80% or 70% of that 80% that the publisher holds on and the developer gets the leftovers. Now this is why, I mean, I love used games. I've bought used games forever, but the flip side is you are killing developers by buying used games because GameStop pockets all that money. And that's really why Sony and Microsoft wanted to put a stop to this used game thing, because they're sick and tired of hearing the publishers wanting a bigger cut so they can actually keep some of their studios open.
Yeah, I mean, I like GameStop, but we all know they rip us off. I mean, we know that.
Oh, you bought the $60 game yesterday? Well, because of depreciation, we can give you $15 or $20 in-store credit.
$4.
Yeah.
Don't try to sell a sports game.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, we just got Madden 14 out. You want to sell us Madden 13? Here's a quarter.
Yeah.
Questions? Any more thoughts?
Well,
Sir?
on
Yep.
It's more of a general thought.
Yeah.
I build a PC game.
Uh-huh.
Just play consoles all the time. The new trend that I've kind of accidentally stumbled upon was streaming. I had a friend of mine, he was out of town, he asked me if I'd stream some off. Quite a lot of like, tell me how to get into it, and I did that. Like next week, so I was streaming. You know, I randomly just kind of had up, and I was able to watch it.
Yep.
You know, over the course of a year, I've had probably about 200,000 there's a lot of exposure that's going on here for a lot of different people. What kind of investment do you think is the best to play on some games, console? What is the best investment in phone?
Well, I know.
I've seen a lot of really government.
Right. I
Hello,
know.
MonsterCon 15 till 6 announcements.
Just announce it.
Panel 1, Game of Thrones fan forum. Panel 2, uh-oh, there goes Tokyo. Panel 3, the science of Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get out of here.
For those who don't remember, panel 1 is up behind the large curtain.
We got it.
2 is here on the basketball court, and number 3 is the bleachers on the right.
Okay. Okay, So, what's becoming really popular with a lot of the online games, a lot of the multiplayer online battle arena games like Smite, League of Legends, to name a few. What people are doing is they're literally broadcasting their game across the internet. And a lot of companies are starting to do their own broadcasts for tournaments and stuff. I know Smite just did theirs.
Just watching other people play.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So
And then you've got, well, if you're listening to like the tournament.
Special announcement. The Dill Room, 6 o'clock, the world premiere.
Yep, it's the
Gospel
pink.
according to Bull Booze, Bullets, and Hot Pink Jesus.
Yep.
The complete event.
It's interesting because there's
Fantastic.
So for the first time ever,
especially on these horror games, like, they get
seen
scared
all
and
the
shit.
posters around, and the guy
I'd rather
sitting
play
over
the game
there.
myself.
Seriously, don't just stand up and just yell at me.
Followed by a
Some
QA
people,
session
they
like
usually
that
stick to
one
PC
Bills.
games,
Come
and
out
they've
and
been
see
doing
if
a
you
lot
know
of
it's going to be
PlayStation,
awesome. That
Xbox, and I
title
want
is
to
that
play those
hard.
games, so I don't watch that.
No, but it's about to be, I think. Okay, streaming, real quick, before he finds something else to talk about. It is great. If you do the tournaments like the Smite one or the League of Legends, you actually have announcers who are trying to give you blow by blow, telling you what's going on, because there'll be switch between several different characters in there. It's becoming a spectator sport really, really quick. Xbox is going to have Twitch TV, which is one of the main places to do streaming. So you're going to see a lot of probably like Halo and Call of Duty being streamed on there. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen like tomorrow, but I think we're starting to enter the age of possibly, bringing people into an arena and watching them. I mean, it happens in Korea every year. So it's just a matter of time. Yes, sir.
What about Let's Play YouTubers? There's several people that do that. They have like part one of the, like for example, there's a guy that goes by the name of Cry.
Yep.
And he just did The Last of Us. It was like 18 different videos. And I think they were like an hour long each.
Yes, there are a lot of people who will give you video walkthroughs of their experience in the game. I can't do that because I mess up too much.
Well, it's all edited and stuff. It's not like
No, I know, but I'd still. But right. A lot of people are doing Ustream channels where they're trying to show you the game. I mean, Giant Bomb did it first when they did Persona 4. And then everyone's like, oh my god, it's a fantastic idea. And so they made their own YouTube channels to do it. So, Minecraft is, you're going to continue to see clones of Minecraft. There's so many different Minecraft-esque things and people trying to make a game that's slightly better than Minecraft. That game, that model that game is playing in is not going to die for a long, long time. Minecraft has got a lot of legs. And to be honest with you, it is amazing how kids have latched on to Minecraft and they're playing it out of their minds. I can't even keep up with my cousins.
You see the stuff that like people build?
Yeah, exactly.
My middle schoolers are all about Minecraft. They'll come and they'll be sitting in class when they're supposed to be listening to me discussing what they built in Minecraft. Just because they're that into it. 12, 13-year-olds just going off. It's very impressive.
Yeah. It is. It's scary, but impressive.
It takes too much time.
All right. Do we have one last question?
Do you think companies will be doing the trending like what Sucker Punch is doing, like making a game and selling for cheaper? Do you think that'll be picking up with other publishers? No, because when Sly Cooper 4 came out, it was cheaper. Like it was. No, lower prices. Ratchet and Clank come out with a new one, it's going to be $30.
Right.
Do you think that other companies will be doing that?
If this is a big if they make a lot of money and they see that the units are shipping really fast, other companies will pick it up. If you're seeing the same sales, no.
Well, it's like they don't have to make the yield forever like in last month.
Right.
Make like a timeless part.
Right.
Do you think they'll?
To publishers, it's all about the dollar signs. So if that formula works, then you'll see other publishers pick it up. But it's got to like really exceed expectations.
Well, we will be at our booth. We are right over there. It looks like the next panel's already kind of starting to slide in anyway.
Yep.
So we'll be right over there with the red tablecloth and the Ouya out.
We'll talk video games, we'll talk industry stuff, and anything else y'all want to talk about.
And hopefully we won't be interrupted by the PA. At least I got the guy to stop talking for a little bit. I couldn't stop him from clapping.